Hi everyone, I'm Rob Schmidt, and if the Democrats don't want the fires in and around Pacific Palisades politicized, they need to quit bringing up climate change every time there's a natural disaster. They also need to remember that a few years ago, you guys passed through a Build Back Better legislation, after which you had a Democratic Congresswoman stand up and say, thanks to this legislation, hurricanes like that will no longer be a problem. You had hurricanes that hit Florida, and you had a Democratic congresswoman who said, thanks to the Build Back Better legislation, this won't be a problem. Well, you got your legislation, and we still have 100-mile-an-hour gusts thanks to the Santa Ana winds. Bravo! Now, as far as what really happened and why this is Gavin Newsom and the Democrats' fault, there were millions of gallons of water that he pumped into or released into the Pacific Ocean to save a fucking fish. The reservoirs have been running low. The fire hydrants in and around the Pacific Palisades ran out of water. And Trace Gallagher of the Fox News Channel interviewed two guys who were, responsible for fire management in this area. I wouldn't say they're fire chiefs. And he asked because Trace Gallagher of Fox News said he had spoken to a firefighter, and the hydrants were not run by electricity. They are run by some type of gravity, but not with electricity. The one guy that Trace was interviewing said they would have to look into it, which is horsepucky. And the other guy kept, dodging the question. He said, well, they're a little bit of both. It's part gravity and part electricity, and somehow the electricity was cut. But then Trace pointed out that the lights are still on. If the lights are still on, and Trace kept mentioning Pacific Palisades, if the lights are still on, then how can you possibly blame the hydrants? You're claiming that the hydrants didn't have electricity, then how can the lights still be on? Bottom line, I don't believe what those two guys said. I think they're lying, and it's their job to know. If the guys fighting the fire know what kind of fire hydrant, then management should know. And thank you, Trace Gallagher, for doing that interview. It just points out the incompetence of what we got going on here in Southern California. See, I lived at 9th and Broadway in Santa Monica. I worked Pacific Palisades for 4.5 years. I know the area. Right now, I'm a little west of Sepulveda on Washington. And you guys, you control the state. Democratic supermajority for far too long. Democratic mayor and her LGBTQ plus fire chief and all the DEI hires, and they don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. Oh, and the lady who called Gavin Newsom out, blonde-haired lady, a mother, who told Gavin Newsom to please put the call on speakerphone because she said, I don't believe you, Governor. Good for you, lady. Good for you. I might do a follow-up video on this one. This is getting a bit long because I would love to get the clip about the lady who celebrated the Build Back Better legislation after the hurricanes in Florida, saying, hey, these won't be a problem any longer. I'd like to get that. Hopefully you'll bear with me. So, may God be with you all. You will recover. May God be with you all.